Nerds and geeks are weird people without friends and any type of success?
What?
Wrong. You know that, I know that. But let's have a look at some famous examples. Here are 7 celebrity geeks that could totally be live action role players as well. Number 1, Keanu Reeves. We all know Keanu Reeves as a famous actor in movies like The Matrix or John Wick. He's also a complete comic book nerd.
When you hit 50 and you're still into comic books, you're a nerd. You know?
All right, man, I'll be a nerd. I'm
I'm the same.
He has written his own popular comic book series called Berserker. The protagonist is a violent and dark demigod that has fought in thousands of wars and now works for the US military. And let's just say, Berserker looks incredibly similar to Keanu Reeves himself.
Did you say make him look like me? Was that part of the directive?
So I think if he was a LARPer, he would love a dark, post-apocalyptic setting, like that of Bloodsband Reloaded in Sweden. There, he could fight with airsoft guns, throw smoke grenades, and ride a badass motorcycle into battle. Number 2, Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert is one of the biggest late-night TV show hosts and comedians in the US. But he's also probably the biggest nerd for Lord of the Rings that has ever lived on this planet.
Yes, sir. My favorite Tolkien character, this one over here. My executive producer's like, oh my God, we'll never get up now.
He knows how to talk Quenya, the language of the elves.
But I'm just guessing that if you were into Dungeons and Dragons, you must have been into Lord of the Rings.
Yes, I was. I will just say this to you, Conan. Ellen Silla Lumen Omentielvo. Or don't you speak Quenya?
And he has shown his deep knowledge of the Lord of the Rings world countless times.
Lord of the Rings is without a doubt the greatest trilogy in movie history.
So I think if Stephen Colbert was a LARPer, he would love to be an elf at the German LARP event Epic Empires. They have an elven camp there, which is one of a kind in the entire world. It has huge palisade doors, beautiful artistic gardens in the woods, and even platforms in the trees just like Lothlorien.
You're a big man. For such a small man.
Thank you.
Number 3, Margot Robbie. You might know Margot Robbie as the actress starring in movies alongside Will Smith and famously playing Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad. But did you know that she is a complete Harry Potter fan?
I think everyone's got their inner nerd.
Yeah,
know?
well, you are a proper nerd, aren't you?
I mean, when it comes to Harry Potter, I'm a massive, massive nerd.
She's convinced that she is meant to be a Gryffindor and has even lied to her doctor so she would get a prescription for glasses just like Harry Potter.
Do you know what's particularly pathetic about this picture? I'm wearing glasses even though I don't need glasses. I lied to the optometrist because I wanted to have glasses like Harry Potter.
So if Margot Robbie ever wants to try out LARP, she would probably take a close look at College of Wizardry in Poland. She could explore a castle that looks a lot like Hogwarts, take classes in magic, and use her wand to fight fantastical creatures. Number 4, Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss is a best-selling author of books like The 4-Hour Workweek. He's also a successful entrepreneur and has one of the most popular podcasts in the world. Recently, he interviewed Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook.
And I was hoping you could explain why Ender's Game.
I love science fiction. I mean, I have spent a lot of time reading that. I think it's often a good way to kind of understand what's possible.
It is a great book. It was one of my favorites.
Oh, and he's also a person I truly admire. I have been listening to his podcast for years.
I know very little about gaming. The extent of my gaming knowledge pretty much ends at advanced D&D, which I know pretty well. I still have my Dungeon Master's manual. I still have the Fiend Folio.
So who would have thought that this successful entrepreneur is also a geek?
Dungeons and Dragons had a formative impact on my childhood. And for those wondering, Grey Elf was my particular race.
I think Tim Ferriss should definitely visit Conquest of Mythodea, the world's biggest LARP event with around 10,000 players. Its medieval fantasy setting is perfect for all kinds of fantastical creatures, including chaotic good Grey Elves. Number 5, Mila Kunis. Mila Kunis is a successful actress who has played in movies like Black Swan, or friends with benefits, and has given her voice to Meg from Family Guy.
The thing that I get the most of is "Shut up, Meg" on the street. Like, people all the time. I will walk down the street and be like, "Shut up, Meg."
And guess what? Mila Kunis is also a full-on nerd.
How fanatical are you about video games?
Let's just say that I had to quit the game for a good going on year now.
Which one?
World of Warcraft.
Yes, Mila Kunis was obsessed with playing World of Warcraft. Apparently, she played a gnome mage with pink pigtails. But that's not all. She's also a total geek for Star Trek.
So, Next Generation is my favorite Star Trek series. I'm sure all the people that love the original are like, "What? How dare she?" But I'm sorry, Next Generation to me beats the original.
So I recommend Mila Kunis should try some sci-fi LARP, like this one in a starship of LARP gladiator from Israel. Number 6, Henry Cavill. You probably know Henry Cavill from his role in Superman. And of course, he was also the lead actor in the Netflix series The Witcher. But yes, Henry Cavill doesn't only play fantasy characters on screen, but he's also a nerd that builds his own gaming PC and plays Warhammer 40k tabletop games.
You paint
Warhammer.
You paint by hand.
There's the painting, modeling side of the hobby, and then there's the gaming side of the hobby.
When you paint them, what do you do with them then, Henry?
Then you put them together in little armies and you fight against someone else's army.
This is a figure from his Imperial army. However, if Henry Cavill ever wants to try out LARP, I think he would fit perfectly into the LARP village Bogenwald in the north of Germany. It's a village that looks like it came right out of the Witcher game. And who knows better to be Geralt than the OG himself? Number 7, Vin Diesel. I mean, come on, who doesn't know Vin Diesel? He's the father of the Fast and Furious franchise and the action hero in movies like Triple X and Riddick. Oh, and let's not forget that he is the voice behind Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I am Groot.
But Vin Diesel is also a full-on geek.
So I should
attack. Reddish yellow flames begin to burst up the outside of this metallic blade.
Baller.
Yeah, right? Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's
my
beautiful.
God.
What is that, 20?
It's 20.
He plays Dungeons and Dragons, the pen and paper role-playing game.
Would it be worth a Mystic Blast?
Certainly, if you want to. Go for it.
He has some very good arguments for why pen and paper is actually a great exercise.
We grew up on Dungeons and Dragons, and it was good because it's the art of storytelling and using your imagination.
That's right. It is the art of storytelling. It is the art of imagination, and in many ways influenced the way that I've produced film.
His movie, The Last Witch Hunter, is actually based on his D&D character Melkor, an 800-year-old witch hunter. So yeah, quite a lot of successful geeks and nerd celebrities out there, right? Did I forget anybody on my list, you think? And which of those celebrities would you like to see at your local LARP event? Tell me in the comments below, and I can't wait to see what you say. Oh, and one last thing. How I met one of these celebrities in person at a big medieval castle? Well, that's a story for a different day.